Hello and welcome back. In this video, we're going to finish up the exercise that we were working on, configuring the permissions, or rather implementing the permissions for our service module. Again, specifically looking at our assignments. Where we last left off, we defined the permissions within our default.xml file. We let Liferay know that we have configured those permissions using that specific property. So from there, we went into the assignment local service impl and then modified the add assignment and the delete assignment so that the permission resource will be added alongside of the assignment and deleted alongside of the assignment. Let's go ahead and proceed forward with the rest of our exercise. So we have two steps left over. We need to register everything that we've been doing. So we need to let Liferay know that, hey, we have this assignment entity that's connected to this permission resource, and we want this integrated or registered into Liferay's permissioning system. So let's go ahead and see how that is done. So we're back over here in the gradebook service. I'm going to do a little bit of housekeeping and remove all of the tabs. We're going to head into the gradebook service. If you haven't done so already, you can right click the source main Java, head over to new, followed by class. So we're going to use the snippet to our advantage. So we're going to leave the package blank and we're going to fill in the name. The name is going to be assignment model resource permission definition. Right, be careful of spelling, but again, the snippet is going to help us out. So we don't have to be too concerned just yet. Let's head over to our snippets. I'll go ahead and head over to mine. Right, and we'll copy the snippet for the create the permission register class. Go ahead and highlight everything. You can remove it and then paste the snippet that we've just grabbed. I'm going to go ahead and save the file and just wait a few moments. Now that the file has saved, we're going to scroll up and we're going to take care of this package here. You can hover your mouse cursor over the arrow and then move the class into the package. So that way we don't have to type it out. Makes life a little bit easier. Right, so again, we are defining to Liferay, hey, this is the model entity that we want to integrate, as well as the other information that relates to the model resource, things like which portlet is this coming from, and so on. So we'll see that we're going to be grabbing a specific model entity. This is going to be our assignments. And then the next part I want to highlight is down here, letting Liferay's permission framework, if you will, know that, hey, this is the specific portlet that we're going to be leveraging to have these assignments appear. So very similar to what we did in the default.xml, just taking it one step further. Okay, once you have that, make sure the file is saved. So we have the assignments registered within the permission framework and all of the actions that go along with it. The next thing that we want to do is to do the same thing for the portlet. Since we're already here, we'll go ahead and take care of that. So using the same package that we just moved the class into, we're going to create another class inside that package. So within the security permission resource definition, you'll go ahead and right click the package. We'll then head over to new, followed by class. The name of the class will be assignment portlet resource permission definition. Once you have that typed out, go ahead and click finish. From here, we'll head over to our snippets again, and then we'll go ahead and grab the next snippet, registering the portlet itself as a portlet resource and all the actions that follow it. So once we have that, you can go ahead and save the file. So we've taken care of registering the permissions, the model and the portlet resource, and the actions that followed. We defined our permissions within that default.xml, and we've also implemented the logic to create that permission resource. The last thing that we need to do is to implement permission checking. So we want to make sure that whenever a user is trying to do something, that they have the proper permissions to do so. So we're going to implement the logic for Liferay to do the checks to make sure that they do. And so this is going to be handled over in our remote services. Again, remote services act as a wrapper for our local services, and we utilize remote services to take advantage of permission checking. So let's go ahead and implement that. So we're going to head over to our implementation of our remote services, right? That's over in assignment service impl. So let's head over there. And so let's highlight a couple of different chunks of code that's going to be coming from our snippets, and then we're going to copy and paste everything all at once. I'll head over there and we'll talk about those. So the first section of code that we want to highlight is the references or the APIs that we're going to be bringing in. So you'll notice that we're going to bring in an API to specifically permission check our model resource, in this case, the assignment. So we're targeting specifically the assignment, as well as permission checking for our portlet resource. Again, you'll see specifically targeting our gradebook portlet, right? Having the name abstracted out into its own class. So we're going to have those at the bottom of the class. Right, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use those APIs to do permission checks. So both of those APIs have a check method so that they can do exactly just that, permission check. The thing I want to highlight here is this action keys.view. Remember from the previous video, we discussed how within the default.xml, the action keys can be any string that we want. And so this is the portion that I want to highlight. Liferay again accounts for some of the common ones. You can check the action keys class for which action keys are accounted for on the Liferay side if you want to reference the action keys class. Otherwise, if you are creating your own custom action keys, the example I used was recycle instead of delete, you would put that action key in quotes. So if I wanted to implement recycle, I would just put recycle here in quotes. If we're referencing the action keys that Liferay takes account for, we'll reference the action keys class and whatever specific action key we want. So we'll do permission checking before we perform any of the specific actions that we want to permission check. So for the add, delete, and update assignment, we're going to do permission checking first before actually performing those actions. To optimize the algorithms for the find by method, we use filter find by group ID. This is done so that we can take permissions into account. It's just a little bit better when we're taking permissions into account. So those are going to be the main highlights of what we're doing here in the assignment service impl when implementing permission checking. Let's go ahead and copy the snippet for the assignment service impl, and then we'll head over to Liferay Developer Studio. We can highlight everything and then replace it with the snippet that we just had. You'll notice that there is an error on the filter find by group ID. That one is okay. We're going to be resolving that a little bit later. So that's going to be the only error that we have here within the assignment service impl. Again, we still haven't forgotten about the one over in the assignment local service impl. Let's go ahead and run service builder, updating the APIs so that those errors will go away. So let's head over to our Gradle tasks. For me, it's on the right-hand side, and then we're going to build services one more time. Okay, now that the services have finished building, I'm going to head back over to my training workspace. We're going to Gradle refresh, and we always want to Gradle refresh after we go through a service builder build, just to make sure everything is updated, right? And then you'll see that those errors will go away. Okay, let's head back over to our instance of Liferay and test this out. So you're going to want to make sure you are not signed in. Right now, all of our permission checking is happening at the model layer. So we still see the add button and so on. We'll take care of permission checking at the view layer a little bit later. So I'll have a title here. Right. We'll have a description. And then I'll try to save. Let's see what happens. We'll see that we have an error message because of the permission checking that went on behind the scenes. So very good. This wraps it up for implementing permission checking at the service level. In the next few videos, we'll be implementing permission checking at the view or the web or the portlet level. So until then, I'll see you in the next video.